Hello and congratulations on getting access to this video course on how to make your private label rights videos unique and profitable. This is not theory, this is actual step-by-step information that actually works. This is a decade and a half worth of information that you're getting. So when we're talking about private label rights, these are video courses that you have purchased with private label rights, and the rights give you the ability to rebrand them with your name on them, but it's just so much more than that. The majority of people will slap their name on that and resell it like everybody else. So you'll have the same e-covers, you'll have the same title and everything. But if you look like everybody else, then in the long haul, you're not going to make as much profit. So the whole goal of this video course is to help you look unique. Even take the video course that you're given and create a totally different product from that. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to rebrand it with your logo. In addition to that, how to add more value. But you're not going to know how to add more value until we talk about some basic concepts. All right? So let's go ahead and jump right in. This is video number 1, which is the introduction. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is the mindset, because having the right mindset will help you succeed. Having the wrong mindset will help you fail. All right. So we definitely want to help you succeed. So the mindset that I want you to have is to do the opposite of everyone else. What is everyone else doing? Well, back in the day in 2005, what everyone else was doing was slapping their name on it and selling it. That still works to a degree. I'm not saying that doesn't work, but that still works to a degree, but not so much. So that worked then, so don't do that now. Because if you do that now, yes, it works a little bit, but it's not going to work as much as it should be. So if the goal is to be profitable in the end and long-term retention, then you don't want to do that. What ends up happening is if you're selling a course with the same e-cover, everything else, you're going to look like everybody else. And guess what? Everybody else does not follow the rules, right? So if everybody else is, maybe some are following the rules and some are not, some are devaluing it, then selling is very, very hard, right? So if somebody else is selling it for $7 and you're trying to make a living selling it for $20, if you look like them, then guess what? It's going to be hard, right? But if you have a video course that has so much other value than what you were given, and you don't look like the other person, then guess what? You could have a totally different video course. You're just using the video course as a platform to grow. In that light, if you look like everybody else, you'll begin to police everyone. You'll become to obsess over everyone else and what they're doing, that you forget about your business. And I've seen this time and time again, that it ultimately just eats away at someone's mindset and it's not productive. So we don't want to see that happen to you. We want to see you succeed. So what I want to do now is give you a quick overview of what's inside this video course so you know exactly what to expect. Video 1 is this video right now. Video number 2, we're going to talk about what everyone else does. Video number 3, we'll talk about the missing piece of the puzzle. And video number 4, we're going to talk about how to help. Believe it or not, these few videos are well worth decades worth of testing and findings and everything. Even though they're fundamental and conceptual, there's a lot of information and golden nuggets that you will find within these videos here, 2, 3, and 4, that will definitely help you in rebranding your video course. But not only that, but figuring out how to add value and what value looks like. Video number 5, we'll talk about voice reputation. Video number 6, we'll talk about intro logo stings. And video number 7, we'll talk about how do you go about creating those intro logo stings, which is those professional 10 to 20 second logo videos that you see typically at the beginning and the end of videos. And of course, video number 8, we'll talk about how you can take those logo stings and rebrand your video course as a whole. And of course, last but not least, video number 9, we'll talk about bulk rendering, which is a very important process in rendering all your videos. So instead of rendering it one by one, which is something that we used to do back in the day, we now can bulk render, let's say, for example, 9 or even 20, 30, 40, 50 videos at one time. Because your time is valuable, this is kind of a bonus video to help you speed things up. All right, so here is what you're going to need. You're going to need to have access to a video course with private label rights. You're going to need a video editor. You can use Camtasia. You don't necessarily have to, but I'm going to be using Camtasia in this particular video course. So if you want to follow along, that is what I'm going to be using. Now, there are other free software out there that you can use, but at the end of the day, Camtasia is the best screencasting type video out there that is available. Now, keep in mind that for Mac computers, you now have access to Camtasia. It's not as good as the one on the PC version. There are other versions of screencasting software out there like ScreenFlow, but at the end of the day, Camtasia is evolving even on the Mac computer. And that is a software that is well worth it in the end. If you're going to rebrand a lot of video courses over the course of the time, Camtasia is going to be well worth it. And believe it or not, that is the tool that started it all, pretty much, for screencasting. You're going to need to have access to video logo creation tools. We'll talk about the different web applications that are out there, how you can go about creating the logo stings, and I'll show you step by step what to do. And of course, you're going to need to get access to soundtracks, and you can get those from royalty-free audio sites like Audio Jungle. Now, you don't necessarily have to, but this will definitely step things up. And of course, if you're going to create other value in the form of videos, you're going to need to have a microphone. Now, you don't need to have a fancy microphone. You can use a USB microphone, or of course, you can hire a voiceover artist as well, or somebody else to create your videos. And of course, last but not least, a dummy partner, especially if you're the opposite sex of the speaker. So if you're a male and the video course creator is a female, then you're obviously going to need a dummy partner. Now, more on this later. This actually resolves an issue that I have seen over the years that will help you if that is the case. And of course, while this is not really covered in this video course, because this is really about rebranding the actual video course, it would be a good idea to get access to a e-cover designer so that you can change the e-covers and change the sales letters and all of that. With that said, that's the end of that particular video. Let's jump into video number 2. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 2. And in this particular video, we're going to discuss what everyone else does. You see, the best way to win in the PLR or private label rights business is to avoid doing what everyone else does. Now, I want to say this for just a second. Just because I'm talking about video courses, it doesn't just mean video courses. You can take the same concept and relate it to a PLR report, a PLR ebook, or a PLR software. So what you're learning here is easily transferable. So let's get back to business. What is everyone else doing? But maybe a better question is, who is everyone else? So let's figure that out. Well, everyone else is people who bought the same private label rights product as you. Specific product, I mean. So if you bought a specific product on how to do email marketing basics, for example, and somebody else bought the exact same product from that vendor, then that would be considered your competition. Here's the thing. What we've noticed statistically, which is a benefit to you if you're watching this, and especially if you're going to apply these strategies, is that out of 1,000 people, usually only 10 or 20% of that amount. So out of 1,000 people, 10 or 20% is 100 to 200 people will typically actually sell the product. We're all guilty of buying something and not using it. All right. I'm not pointing any fingers I've had the same situation before. We all get busy and all that. But the beauty of that is usually only 10% or 20% of people will actually use the product. So let's say hypothetically max out 20%, 200 people out of the 1,000 that bought actually are going to sell this product. Now, out of that 100 people, typically the majority will change the title and sell it. And then maybe half of those people, or even less, will actually change the graphics. And then less than half of those people, probably about 10 people, will actually change the sales page. Believe it or not, yes, you can still make money by slapping your name on it, changing a few things, and doing it just that. But if you take it a step further and do what I'm teaching you in this video course, you're most likely going to be that 1 or 2 people who actually apply these strategies and build an actual product, probably a new product based on the video course. So keep in mind that private label rights is just it's like an empty house. And you can still build on that house and build something beautiful and build something that's totally different than what everyone else is selling. And I can guarantee you, if you do that, you just add a little bit of value, you will be that 1 or 2 person that bought that private label rights product that is unique. And those people are the people that actually succeed. So, like I said, if you're selling the same title with the same graphics, with the same sales pages, you are competing with everyone else. And this is fine, but imagine selling with the exact same title, or worse, imagine trying to rank on the same title in Google. You're competing with everybody else. And what ends up happening is it becomes a price war. Look on Amazon. I mean, look at other stores, retail stores, for example. Everybody is fighting for the price. So even if you have a dollar price lower, your customers or their customers are going to come to you and vice versa and all that. So you don't want to fight on the playing level of price. You want to fight on the level of value. And that is what you're going to learn today, and that's how you're going to succeed. Let's say that you do change the title and the graphics, but you still use the exact same sales page. Yeah, you're still going to be that small minority that actually does something, and you're definitely going to make money, but it's still going to be hard because people are going to have deja vu experiences, and they're going to think, wait a minute, I looked at that sales page, they didn't buy, they went to somebody else's sales page, and they're like, wait a minute, it all looks the same, right? So you might want to even get creative and turn that sales page into a sales letter. Hire a voiceover artist and have them read the script and turn it into a sales video. I can tell you right now, most people don't even do that. So that's an idea for you. So if you're doing that, you're probably one of the few. Now, I want to say that this can actually work on projects that have giveaway rights. So if you have a report or an ebook or something like that have giveaway rights, or in other words, rights that allow you to give it away for free without charging somebody a fee or money, that can work on this. You could literally get away by using the same title, using the same graphics and all of that, because you're giving it away for free. But the majority of video courses usually and typically do not have giveaway rights. So for example, if this video course happens to have giveaway rights, with exception of an affiliate bonus or a paid product, then whoever sold it to you is probably violating the license. So make sure that you pay close attention to the license and get a better understanding of what your scenario is. Even if the video course has giveaway rights, then adding more value to it will actually be better for the long haul. It can last you for literally a decade, as long as the content in the video course is still good. So what most people are living in is this nightmare of not knowing how to profit strategically. If you are, it's time to get out. So if you're in that situation, I want you to get out, all right? I want to see you succeed. So hopefully that puts things into perspective as why you're losing in this game. PLR is widely profitable, but only for people willing to put in the effort. PLR allows you to bypass literally months worth of product creation that would otherwise take you weeks or even months to create. However, that said, you will need to do some legwork. All right. And that's where we go in the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 3, and we're going to talk about the missing piece. So as we discussed in the previous video that you need to do a little bit of legwork, the hard part is already done, especially if you find the right video creator. If you find either the right video creator or even relating to other private label rights like ebooks or reports or software, if you find a good product creator in general, then you've gone through that, you've read their material, you've watched their videos, and you're a big fan of the way they create their videos, then that is a good sign. Now, if you find the wrong video creator or somebody who just slapped together a bunch of videos that don't really understand the material and how to teach it, then that can actually be detrimental to your reputation. So you want to make sure that you choose the best of the best material before you put your reputation on it. That said, if you have found a good product creator or video course creator or report creator, and you've gone through the material yourself and you believe in it 100%, that in itself will help your mindset, and that will help you sell it better. And that is often when you know you have a good product. If you have a good product, then you're ready to move forward. The problem that I see a lot of times is if you've gone through the course and you feel like it is crap and you have no passion about it, the reality is you're selling crap to your customers. The majority of us, we're ethical, so we don't want to sell crap to our customers. So at the end of the day, if you know that you're selling crap to your customers, it's not really good for your mindset. And selling people something that you do not feel passionate about can and will be detrimental to your reputation. If you do not feel passionate about what you just purchased, do not sell it. Add tons of value to it to make sure that you are passionate about it, and then sell it. But only when you feel passionate about it, that you wholeheartedly believe in it, that is when you should sell it. The reason why I'm bringing this up is this is a crucial process that oftentimes you skip because you skipped the product development process. If you really think about it, when you create a product, the reason why you're creating that product is you feel passionate about it, right? If you skip the product development process and you get the product, then you don't get to experience the process of creating that product. But as a private label rights buyer, you don't get to experience that unless you actually go through the process and watch the video course or consume the material. That's why I'm asking you to do this exercise, because it will actually help you in the long run. Without knowing this process, the majority of people actually set themselves up for failure. If you've gone through the process, you're really passionate, you start to think about how this product will help your customers. And you're like, oh, wow, I just learned this and that. I really think this will help the customers. I really feel passionate about selling this product to the customers. You start to think of ways to really help people. And you become more focused on helping people rather than simply getting money from them. And yes, people say what's wrong with money. And there's nothing wrong with money. I mean, we're all business people at the end of the day. But if you think about money first, then you've defeated the whole purpose. If you think about helping people first, then the money will follow. In other words, if you think about it, if you help 1,000 people and they're willing to give you $10 each, then you've made $10,000. If you think about it from the money standpoint, it's like, oh, I got to make $10,000 or I got to make $1,000 or whatever. Then what ends up happening is you forget about the person. You think, oh, they're paying my bills, right? You forget about their needs and you can't really think. There's kind of that creative block that blocks you from thinking about what kind of value you can add to the course. So that's why I'm talking about this. And because at the end of the day, it's going to impact your sales, whether you like it or not. And the only way to bypass this thought process is by consuming the product yourself, going through the thought process of, oh, I can add this, I can add that. This video course is missing a checklist, or this video course is missing that. So jot it down, write it down. Everything is missing something. A software is going to be missing something. Jot it down. How do you add value to it? So from here on out, I wanted you to do an exercise. If you read something, think, what is missing? Jot it down. Get in the habit of doing that, because by doing that, creating value is going to make more sense. It's going to come to you very naturally as well. So I don't want you to go through this route. I want you to succeed, and that is why I am pointing you to some basic fundamentals before we start the process. So that in itself is the missing piece of the puzzle on how to create value. And now you know the process, and this process is actually very easy to do. It just takes some time out of your schedule. And once you understand the process, you can begin to outsource these parts really, really easily. Let's discuss things and what you need to do in next steps in practical terms. Welcome to video number 4. We're going to discuss how to help. So now that you understand the whole process of how do you figure out what kind of value to add, let's start by asking a question. And that question is, how can you help the customer? Or how can you add more value to the video course that you purchased with private label rights? So let's talk about practical terms, because we talked briefly about kind of the fundamentals. So this is how you begin to succeed. Maybe you can add another video, like a bonus video. Maybe there is a video course that's 10 parts, and maybe it's missing a part, and you've written it down, and maybe you add another video, like a bonus video. And truly, you would only know this if you actually went through the video courses yourself, right? There's always something that stands out as you watch something. Well, I wish I could learn this, or why isn't this in the video course, right? You should ask, why is this not here? What is this? Or where is this? So why or where and all that. There's always going to be a question. And as you begin to ask those questions, you can fill those gaps with extra value that your competitors will not do. If you're doing this, great. All your competitors are not doing this. In fact, I commend you for even watching this. So most of your competitors don't do this, so you typically don't even have to worry about 80 or even 90% of them. If you're doing this, 90% or even 99%. Even if they're violating your rights, if you follow this blueprint exactly, then you don't even have to worry about them. Don't even worry about them if they're price killing you. I really want you to think questions like, maybe this course is really good, but it needs additional information such as a checklist, a workbook, something to help people take what they learned and actually apply it. You could take notes, look at the transcripts, see what golden nuggets stand out. You could create an action workbook. What do people need to do in terms of next steps so that people can take what they learn and truly apply it and succeed? You see that right there? As long as you understand that you want to help people consume the product that you're selling to them succeed, then guess what? You're going to figure all these golden nuggets, probably more than me right now. And probably many of you are thinking of a lot of different things. So jot those ideas right down. So perhaps in the video course, something is explained, but it is not very clear. So you could create an infographic that clarifies and gives value added information. So maybe as I'm teaching this video course right now, you're thinking, oh, I can create an infographic out of that, right? Go do that. Add that value. Or maybe you're watching this video course and you realize that another video course could be created, sort of like a sequel or a part 2. You could do that, and that would actually help you sell. I mean, think about it. You could set that up as an upsell of this video course, and you could essentially sell that. And you could do a part number 3, part number 4. Or maybe as you watch it, you feel uneasy because something else is missing. Figure out what that is. Does that make sense? Can you now see how, just by going through the video course itself, you can begin to see nuggets of value that you could potentially add in? And by adding these value points, you can also sell these on your sales letter to show people that you're not just selling the exact same course as everybody else. In fact, you have something different, something better. Now, let's say, for example, that you're selling a piece of software. Most of the time, as far as videos related to software is what speeds things up. Video courses typically tell you the manual process of the software. So what you could do is if you, let's say, for example, bought a piece of software that had private label rights on it, what you could do is create a video course that shows the slow, tedious manual process of what the software can speed up. And you can add value, and you can give that video course away for free. And when people consume that, they feel like they've gotten value that they want to go buy the software. So that's a little bit of an idea that you can use in other private label rights packages. So once you figure this out, you need to begin to jot down what this looks like in your own situation. What does that look like to you in practical terms? If it's a checklist, a workbook, an infographic, or an extra video. Let's say, for example, that you're applying a specific video, let's say an email marketing course, like the example that we used earlier. Let's say that you want to apply that to a very specific niche. What you could do is add an extra video or a checklist that caters to that specific niche. Now you need to think about who is going to create this. Are you going to create this, or is somebody else going to create this? Are you going to hire an article writer to create perhaps the written portions? Or are you going to do this? Are you going to create the video or the bonus videos? Or are you going to outsource this? Whatever you decide, at the end of the day, you need to figure out your next steps. So you can go ahead and do that now. Now, to help you along the way, if you were to hire somebody like an article creator or a video creator, then oftentimes you can find these types of people on Upwork.com or even Fiverr.com. And of course, if you don't have any money to do this, you should be doing this yourself. Now, while it does take a little bit of time out of your busy schedule, at the end of the day, this is what you need to do in order to survive and make sure that that particular private label rights product lasts for many, many years to come. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 5, and in this particular video, we're going to talk about voice reputation. So a big concern and a valid concern is, well, my voice doesn't sound like the speaker's voice. How can I combat this? So for example, I'm a male and maybe you're a female, or maybe you're watching this and you're in a different country and you have a totally different accent. And you're asking yourself, how can I brand myself when the speaker's voice is a male from a different country? Or maybe it's a female from a different country, right? So if you're a female, but the speaker's voice is male, or you're a male, but the speaker's voice is female, how do you go about creating a video with your own voice, maybe as an introduction video, and claim that this course is yours and you have the rights to it, and ultimately rebrand it as your own? Well, there's actually a very simple solution to this. And this is part of the whole rebrandable, course blueprint, because it is a valid concern and it could impact the way you could go about creating your value, essentially. So let's say, for example, you own a company, and not just a one-man company, but a company that has a bunch of people. Well, if you think about it, in that company, you might have different types of people with different types of accents and all that, who could be the person speaking in your video course. Could it be your partner, or could it be one of your employees? Now, remember, what I want you to do is think big. Don't think small. So what you can do is, if this is a concern, then what you can do is make a video in the beginning of the video course. So let's say, for example, that the video course is 10 parts. What you can do is make an intro video that is right in front of all the other videos and say, this is the introduction video of the video series, and introduce yourself. Let's say, for example, that your name is Julie. You could say, hi, my name's Julie, and today you're going to learn about email marketing in the video course, in the videos after this video or something. Discuss the video course and give a brief summary. And then, of course, if you're a female and the voice is a male, you could say something like, hi, my name's Julie, and my partner Bob will be sharing with you how to, step by step set up your email marketing campaign, right? Hi, my name is Julie, and my employee Bob will be sharing with you how to do exactly that. So what you're doing is you're creating pen names or dummy partners. This is nothing new. A lot of people out there actually have pen names. So that's how you can get around this situation. Of course, don't actually use the actual video creator's name unless you have permission from them, because of course that is a violation of copyright, or worse, trademark, especially if, they've done that. So because they could easily come at you and, sue you from profiting off of their name. So this is why you need to create your own dummy partner or dummy employee name underneath the umbrella of your company. And of course, if you're a male and the speaker is a female, you can simply say, make a dummy partner or a dummy employee and say, hey, this is Bob. Donna will be showing you how to set up your email marketing campaigns. Same thing if you're in a different country. You could say, I'm going to pass this on to my business partner who is in the UK, right? So you're creating a dummy partner, essentially. So at the end of the day, now I will say, don't get too caught up into this. At the end of the day, most people do not care about us. What they really care is, what kind of value are you going to give to them? So that's really what they're concerned about. So while this is a valid concern, as it could be, in certain respects, impact how they see you as a brand, as a person, or as a company. In fact, if you're branding yourself as a company, it's easier, to get away with this because you're under a brand, right? If you're branding a person, then you're going to have to do this in order to get around that, or otherwise you would have to redo the total course itself, which is possible. Most PLR products do have transcripts, but I will say that voicing over a video course is often harder than it sounds. So with that said, I do want to say, don't focus too much about yourself and how you look. And if this is taking you more than a day to think about, just do what I'm telling you and move forward. Welcome back. This is video number 6. We're going to talk about intro logo stings. So now that you understand the fundamentals, we can actually jump straight into rebranding the course. Now, the first thing that I suggest that you start doing is to rebrand all of your videos inside the video course. So if the video course has 10 videos, you brand all 10 videos. And all you have to do is add a short logo in the beginning of each video. This could be in the form of a logo image or even a very short logo sting video. Now, to ensure that you understand what I'm talking about, a logo sting is merely an eye-catching 10 to 20 second video clip that shows your logo or your brand in some sort of motion graphics that is eye-catching. This allows you to introduce the customer to your brand, and I will say, contrary to belief in the past, these logo stings tend to be up to about a minute. And in the past, they used to be about a minute and 30 seconds. And then over time, they were a minute and so forth and so on. But I will say that people's attention spans have grown shorter. And because of that, you typically want to stick with about 10 to 20 max. If you can do like 5 or 10 seconds, that's even better because it's quick, short, it shows it to them, and it goes straight into the content. The sooner you go straight into the content, it shows that you care psychologically. So like I said, their attention span is shorter. So you definitely want to keep it short. So let's talk about where you can find these logo stinks. So back in the day, you would have to go find an After Effects template, and then you would have to hire somebody for about an extra $50 to customize the video intro with your logo or brand. So a lot of times you would pay for the After Effects template for $50 and you hire somebody that ends up being $100. Nowadays, you can actually buy web applications for less than $100 and get access to literally hundreds of templates. There is a growing number of web applications that will allow you to create these fancy logo 3D video intros. And literally, if you buy one, you get access to all their templates. You could buy another one and get access to different templates and so on and so forth. But really it comes down to you just need one. You don't need 10 or even 5. You just need one that you really like and you just stick with that. And the reason why you stick with that is that people will come accustomed to seeing that particular logo sting, and they'll associate you whenever they see that. So, like I said, nowadays, due to the rise of these web applications that will automatically create these logo stings for you, it's just making life easier for you. Now, there are many places that you can go to, but the easiest way is to buy access to a software that will allow you to do that. Instead of going out to places like Video Hive and buying the After Effects and then having to deal with the headaches of finding somebody, hiring them, and all of that. I would not recommend that route. You want something fast, quick, and easy, simple, short, and just run with it. Basically, my point is the less time you're focused on these little elements and these little items, the faster you are to actually getting to the point to selling your product. So let's discuss a few and let me show it to you in action. And then of course, in the next video, we will have those videos in hand and I'm going to show you how to open up Camtasia, how to add them, how to make it look professional. Videos, that's VIDDYOZE. And this particular web application has hundreds and hundreds of video templates that you literally can go through here. For example, if I put my mouse over it, you can see what it looks like. So we can choose the logo one. So the intros are basically titles. So you could have a title that comes in. If you don't want to have your logo, that's fine. And you just want to have an intro. Or you could have your logo come in really quick. So if you have a combination of these, just keep in mind to keep it as short as possible. So you could have your logo come in like this one here or this one here. And then after that, you could have an intro word come in that talks about the video course. So maybe the title of the video course. So for example, this video course is about how to profit and how to make your PLR videos unique. You could have a intro video come in that's professional and then have the logo and the intro and then just go straight into the actual content. And then at the end, you can have maybe an outro, maybe a call to action to tell people what to do next. Either go watch video 2 or video 3, or go to this website, and then have the logo. Now, I will say in terms of video courses, a tip that I have for you is for videos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the beginning videos, you typically don't want to have a call to action. The goal is to get people to consume the video course because the majority of population, they start a video course. I think we've all been guilty of that. So I'm not saying certain people, but we've all been guilty of that. So having a video, maybe at the end of video number 1, you could say, check out video 2 where we talk about this, right? So it's kind of a sneak peek to get them moving forward because the more you can have people consume the video course, the more they're going to come back and buy from you, right? So at the end of the day, they're going to feel like, okay, you helped me. I learned something new. I was able to complete the whole video course, which is something that rarely happens. So of course, they're going to come back to you. So that's a little tip there. Or you can just have a logo on the intro and the logo on the outro. That's fine. It's really up to you. I'm just giving you some tips on what you could potentially do and making it unique. You can also go a little forward and let's say within a video, you've got sections, right? So for example, the first video we had mindset and we had quick overview, and then we had other things like the things that you need. So you could go to the intro or title screens and create title screens for those sections. So you could get creative and get all fancy and all that to kind of upgrade the look of the video. And the reason why I recommend this is because a lot of video courses, especially with private label rights, they're made to kind of look standard so that somebody else could come in and make it look really, really good. And that's really the reason. If it's already rebranded with a picture or everything like that, then of course it's going to look like everybody else. So at the end of the day, you want to be able to edit the private label rights product. So don't buy a product just as a note for the future, just because it looks really good. Buy it because it has a good quality track record. All right. So now that we've kind of talked about a few tips that you can take your videos to a whole new level, Videos is a good site to come to. All you have to do is come here, pick and choose what you want. Let's say we'll do a logo and we'll scroll down here. You could do the cube logo. So you click this, and as long as you have the logo in hand, it's as simple as uploading the image here, the logo here, clicking render video, and literally it will start to render the video. So when you're done, I'm not going to do it now because rendering does take time. Sometimes it can be 5 minutes, sometimes it can be 15 minutes because it's web-based. So we're going to click videos here. And of course, when you're ready, you just click download. Now, there is another software called Revio, and as you can see, I've logged into my Revio account, and Revio has kind of a different take on things. It's a little bit different than videos, so it's hard to say that they are all the same. Revio, there's another one coming out, I'm sure, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more coming out. At the end of the day, it's better to have a variety of softwares and access to these. That way you have a variety of access to different templates. Same thing, you got logos, really nice fancy looking logos, as you can see here. And then we got promo videos, we got motion titles, we've got live mockups, which live mockups are kind of like if you're showcasing your product or e-cover or whatever kind of thing. And then there's collections, and there's whiteboard videos. And then of course there's explainer videos, which is just a shorter name for kind of video sales letters or the kind of that cartoon based videos. The nice thing about Revio is there's a variety of different videos. Now, if I go to my videos, very, very similar to videos. They're all created very similar. You pick it, you like it, you upload the logo, and then of course you render the video. And then of course, when it's done, you go here and you can download the actual video. So in this case, I've downloaded this particular video. It's pretty standard. So it's like make your video stand out. So this could be kind of related to this video course. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 7, and we're going to talk about software required in order to edit your videos. So in this particular video, we're going to show you what you need software wise to take the logo sting that you just created in the previous video, and then of course add them into your video course. So obviously in this case, we're going to have to edit individual videos. So if you have 10 videos in the video course, you'll have to edit all the 10 videos. Now, in order to do this, you're going to need to have a video editor. You can use Camtasia, or you can even purchase a cheaper version of some video editor, as long as it gives you the ability to split in half the video. And that way, if you want to add it to the intro and outro, you can. That's usually pretty easy. You don't have to do a lot of edits. If you want to add a soundtrack, that's fine. You can do that as well. Or if you want to go further than that, you can cut the videos in their appropriate places. For example, the sections, if you were to have like the title videos. And I'll show you how to do all of that. And even though it sounds a little bit complex that you're going to have to edit every single video if you've never done this before, it really isn't. It really is easy as long as you have the right software. If you have the wrong software, however, I'm going to tell you that it's going to be a little more difficult to follow along. All right. So I like Camtasia. We've used Camtasia for literally decades. It was one of the first screencasting software applications out there. And it started with PC computers. So you may notice if you have a PC that the Camtasia has a lot more features than the Mac version. But the Mac version has really evolved over the years. So you still can do a lot of the basic stuff that I'm showing you right now, even though I'm on a PC. With that said, it's actually cheaper for Mac computers. In fact, the software for Mac is a lot less than the software for PCs. So the key to know is it's evolving and it's getting to that point. And I think within a few years, the Mac version is going to evolve almost to the PC version. Now, keep in mind on PC computers, it'll run you about $300 to get Camtasia. And while that does seem a little bit expensive to some of you, at the end of the day, it's a very good piece of software. It has a very good track record, and you can do so much with it in terms of editing, screencasting videos. And especially if you want to add more value to your existing course in the future, Camtasia, you're going to find, will come in very handy. And if you are using a Mac computer, you can also get access to another really good software called ScreenFlow. And ScreenFlow, in my opinion, is good and decent, but I like Camtasia better just because I feel like when it comes to editing your videos, you need to have all the tools in hand. And I just feel Camtasia is just easier. And it might be a personal preference. So if you're using ScreenFlow, then go check that out. If you're using another software, that's fine too. But I recommend that you get this so that you can follow along. Hello and welcome to video number 8. And in this particular video, we're going to take everything that we talked about in the previous videos, what we did, downloaded the logo sting, we're going to find a video, and we're going to rebrand it. So right now, this is Camtasia, and I'm going to walk you through really quick. To be honest, when it comes to most video editors, this is kind of how it looks like. You're going to have an area where you have access to the videos or the media files that you can import. And then of course you can drag those media files down here. Now, before we do any of that, I like to kind of import everything in here first. So right now we've got that video file that we created in Revio. And if I click on File, Import Media, you can either do it that way, where you import it like that, and you choose the file, you find the file, and you do that. Or another way with Camtasia that I like is just simply by going down here. You can find the location of a video course. So let's say, for example, this one here. And you typically want to use the high resolution videos. So a lot of times with PLR videos, you'll get access to 640 by 360 flash and 1280 by 720. And if it's bigger resolution, that's fine too, but you want to pick the highest resolution. All right, so in this case, I only want to import one video at a time. All right, so for every project, it's going to pertain to one video. So if I import this in here, I'm going to need to save this as a different file. So you can save this as a file that is related to this. And then you're going to need to have a different project file for every single one of these videos. All right. So I'm going to show you the process first. And don't worry if it does seem a little complex at first, it's because it's new. All right. Everything new is going to feel that way. So let's look at this. We've got these two files. If you want to import let's say, for example, an audio soundtrack, you can, like this. So we have the intro, we have the video, and then of course we have the audio soundtrack. Now, if we take a look down here, I'm going to move this up a little bit. We have tracks. So most, if all, video editors will have tracks. So these are basically different layers. If kind of an analogy here, if you think of Adobe Photoshop, you have different layers, so different tracks in this case. So if you listen to music, for example, it could be made up of different tracks. It could be made up of the person's voice. It could be made up of somebody's audio soundtrack. It could be made up of something else, right? Because we're dealing with both audio and visual, we also have visual tracks as well. So that's kind of a brief description of how things work. So with Camtasia, I like it. All I have to do is drag it in here. And of course, it's going to ask you for your editing dimensions. Because it's 1280 by 720, I typically choose the same as the video file. So let's say, for example, if the video file is 640 by 360, then you're going to want to choose that or enter that information here. The best that you can stick with the same dimensions of the file, the better. Otherwise, it's going to squeeze the file, it's going to distort it, and it's not going to look right. So most video courses with PLR should come with the 1280 by 720, and that's HD quality. So in this case, I'm going to do 1280 by 720, press OK, and then I'm good to go. So up at the top right hand corner here, this is the screen. So this allows me to see what is actually going on, right? So if we were to click play, so it says make your video stand out. All right. So then next, what I want to do is I want to add this video file here and add it here. So the nice thing about Camtasia, I don't know if you noticed that yellow line. That's a guideline to tell me that it's close or it's touching the other video. And that's nice to have, especially if you're moving it over and you don't know exactly where to go. It just locks in. And that's why I like Camtasia. Now up at the top here, this is zoom out and this is zoom in. So what this allows you to do is see the audio waves here. So if you wanted to get close and you're like, okay, you know, I want to lower the sound, then I could select the clip. So this is the intro, click audio, and then I can lower the sound. And click play. Because sometimes, just because this level here is right here, doesn't, and this one here is here, even though the levels might be the same, it does not mean that the audio loudness is going to be the same. The volume is going to be different. So from what I can hear, the volume here is definitely louder than the volume down here. So you want to adjust it to your headphones to see which one actually, you know, everything is even and level. So we could do that, or we could just totally remove this. So if we were to use the, let's say, for example, the audio soundtrack here, I could say, well, I don't really need the audio here. I just want the intro logo to come in. So if that's the case, you click audio, select this. And if you move this over here, and this little green thing allows you to move it over here, so you can select. So the left-hand side is the green, the right-hand side is the red. And I can click on silence like that, and it removes the audio. So this thing right here allows me to select things. And I use this all the time to edit videos. So now we click play, and there's no sound. Now we can also add transitions. So with Camtasia, the newer versions allow you to add more transitions, but See how it kind of just jumped from here to here, and it was very abrupt. So what you can do here is you're going to add a transition like a fade. So you can grab the fade here and drag it in between both of these. So now when you click play, it fades in. Now, in my opinion, fades are fine. Glows are okay. Let's see. But the things that I would probably avoid and recommend avoid using are things like the cube rotate, because it looks really old school like that. So it really depends on your audience, but at the end of the day, simple is better than making it look too fancy. If it looks too fancy, it looks kind of salesy, and because of the rise of skepticism and all that, you want to keep it simple. All right. So if you want to add this to the ending, and you can either drag and drop it, we'll minimize it here. So there's two ways of doing this. You could either drag the logo to the end and move it over here to snap it in place. But since we made the changes before, what I could do is instead of doing that, I could duplicate from what's over here. So I could select that, right click, copy, and then go over here, put my cursor over here, right click, paste. Like that. So I actually click Control V for paste. And of course we can add either a fade or a glow, like that. And that's really how easy it is. Now, let's say, for example, that you want to add title screens. So we talked briefly about that in the previous videos. So let's go through here. So this video right here talks about how to create a profitable authority blog. And of course, we got video 1 introduction. So if I wanted to insert a title screen, let's say, for example, I go to videos or even Revio or Video Hive or whatever you go to, you create the title screen and then you go to the area that you want to place that screen. So if we're looking here, we want to find an area that isn't moving. So if you notice that is zoomed in here. So see how it stopped? So that's our opportunity to insert something. So we notice that it goes in and it stops there. So from this point all the way to this point here, that's where we could enter our title screen. Now, what you want to do is split this track. So in order to do that, we have to select the position and then click this here. So that's split. So we splitted it. If you notice, there's a split between the two. Now, how do you insert that in there? Well, you can, let's say, for example, this video here is a title screen. I don't have one, but we'll drag one over here. So that's a nice thing. You don't have to do everything on track 1. That said, of course, you can add things like call outs and other elements as well. But because this is a title screen, we do need to move things around. So I'm going to select all of this here. I'm going to move it to the right. And I'm going to take this and then insert it here. Make sure it's yellow. We're going to select this whole thing here and then move it over until it's yellow. And we know it's locked together from there. So now we know we got the intro here. We've got a little bit talking. And then, of course, we got the title screen. And we move on and on and on. So that's really how easy it is. You can do this with any other video editor. But from what I have faced over the years, I found that this video editor is the easiest. Now, let's say, for example, that you want to add a soundtrack and you want to make sure that this soundtrack does not overpower your voice or the voice on the video course. So what you do is drag the soundtrack up at the top here, down here. You need to make sure that the soundtrack is all the way to the left. And then after that, what we need to do is lower the sound. So right now it's way too loud. So we need to select this here, click on audio, and then now we can lower the sound. So you can either lower the sound up here, volume down, but that takes too long. But we can use that later, but we can lower the sound by clicking this and moving it down. Now, one thing to note is that you're going to want to probably lock this track. When you're editing something else like a soundtrack, you have the potential of ruining this track here, maybe actually deleting something. So the best way to do things is to lock that track. So if you see the little lock here, it's open lock now, it's locked now. Lock basically means I can't do anything to it. So now when I click on it, I can't move it around, right? So if I were to let's say select this and then click delete, it'll delete this, but it won't delete the lock track. So now obviously I did not want to do that. So I'm going to click edit, undo, like so. And I'm going to quickly listen to it. So it really comes down to your hearing. If you listen to the voice and it's way too low, you can of course increase it. But you always want to make sure that the soundtrack is lower. And you really can't tell by just looking at the visual wave length or wave height. So what you need to do is listen to it and then click volume down. Sometimes you'll have to click it 10 times and then listen again. And it's like, okay, that's too soft. Click it up and all that. It's better to have the voice of the video course louder than the actual soundtrack. Even though the soundtrack can change moods and emotions and all that, if the voice is softer than the soundtrack, people are going to get pissed off, they're going to get annoyed, and they're going to do a refund. So just a little bit word of the wise there. This has happened before, and I've seen it happen as well, and it's not something that you want to do. Now, you're not done yet. You'll notice that the audio soundtrack is, so this one's about 4 minutes, 40 seconds. This one's about 4 minutes, 10 seconds. So how do we get rid of this? So what you need to do is just move this over. And you see that yellow line, it tells us, okay, that's the end. So we click on the red here, we move over and click delete, or you can do right click and delete. So now we look at it and we're like, okay, those two line up with each other because we don't want it all the way out here. If it's all the way out here, it'll just be a black screen with music and people are going to be like, what in the world? And they're going to put the unprofessionalism of the video on your brand. So believe it or not, people will judge your brand based on the video that you sell. So that's why I said earlier on, you need to be careful on what you put your name on and make sure that you go through the video course and you feel passionate about it. If you feel passionate about it, somebody's going to say something and you can talk about the video, right? And that way you're aware. All right. So that's how easy it was to literally create a project. So obviously click save when you're done. So I'm going to pause this video and actually just create 2 different projects. And I'm going to show you how to render in bulk in the next video. Okay, so congratulations, you have reached the end of this video course. You've learned how to rebrand your video course with private label rights, and now you can do something that most people don't do, and I applaud you for that. All right, you have done what most people will not do. And if you take it a further step and you add some value like a checklist, a workbook, and maybe even a video to make sure that you brand yourself and you do all that, you're going to move forward. All right. Obviously, I can't guarantee you success, but you have made it further than most people, and I applaud you for that. All right. So in this particular video, this is kind of a bonus video, which is video number 9. And we're going to talk about bulk rendering. So like I said, while this is not part of the actual video course, it's a bonus video to show you how to speed this up. Within Camtasia, one of the most awesome features, besides the fact that you can do screencasting and all of that, that I've used over the years and that I have not found in really any other software, is the ability to render multiple projects at one time. And I'm going to show you how to do this. We've shown this to many other video creators and video editors in the past, and they've been wowed, and they've said, wow, this is the number one golden nugget that I wish I had known years ago. And the same with me. I wish I had access to this decades ago, because literally back in the day, we were recording like 50 to 100 of videos and then rendering them as MP3, 1280 by 720, like 640 by 360, and all these files and formats. And, you know, if you got 20 videos times 4, that's literally all those videos that you have to press a key over and over again. So let's say, for example, that you've added the logo sting to the beginning and the end, and you have about 8 videos. Get ready to be excited, just as many video editors are. And let me show you the feature in action. It's very easy to use. You just need to make sure that you have different projects for every single video. So if you, like I said, if you have 10 videos, you'll need to have 10 different Camtasia project files. All right. As you can see here, there are 3 different Camtasia project files. So as I noted in the previous video, I would create videos 1, 2, and 3. So make sure that these are separate. Once you have these in hand, now it's time to do bulk rendering. It's super easy to do. All you have to do is go up to Tools, and then you go to Sharing, and then you go to Batch Production. So you can either click Add Files and Projects here, and then you can select the files. You can select multiple at a time, click Open, and of course you can add more as well. Now here's a little trick. I'm going to remove these selected here, and that's actually the slow way. Here's the fast way. So let's say, for example, that I want to render an MP3, a 1280 by 720 HD quality file, and a 640 by 360 flash file for every single one of these 3. So that's about 9 different rendered files. So all I have to do is drag these here, drag it over, and drag it over. All right, so the reason why I did that was because I want 3 different formats for each one of these files. So to show it to you again, to kind of maybe simplify things, if I just want 3 here, I could do 1, 2, 3. So then I can have MP3, HD, and then the flash. All right. So hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to speed it up again. So 1, 2, 3. If you have a 4th one, then you can move it over again. Next thing you do is click Next. And these are presets. So obviously these are settings that I have set already. So in order to make new settings, you click on Preset Manager, and then of course you can edit, and then of course change things around. As far as what settings you should use, honestly, I can show it to you here. We'll click cancel out. If you click Produce and Share, actually there's nothing in there. So let me choose something here. Choose this one here. We'll click Produce and Share, and you can click Custom Production Settings. Click Next, and you can say, okay, this will be an MP4. And what that means is you're going to produce an MP4 file. So if we were to produce an MP3 file, we would select that. But the majority of the time, you're going to do MP4 or MP3, but MP3 is only the sound itself. It's not the video. So most of the time, it's this one here. You can also do GIFs. Now, what this means is Produce with Controller is the actual video player, the HTML player that comes with the video. So either you want to render just the video alone, or you want to render the video connected to a player, like an HTML player, so that you can upload it to your website and it'll automatically play. So you could do that. The size, what I would suggest that you do is use a similar size as what you have exported. So 1280 by 720, you have 1280 by 720 here. All right. Video settings, frame rate, I put automatic. You can do 30 seconds frame rate, but I usually just do automatic, and I do bit rate high quality. Now keep in mind, if you do this, especially for bigger files like a 1280 by 720 video, the file is going to be a lot bigger. So your video might end up being 100 megabytes or even several hundred megabytes. But I typically like to have the higher quality as the better. And then audio settings, I usually do encode audio and I select 128. You can also select a higher one as well. And that's it. So really it comes down to what you want. All right. So if you want to produce it without the controller, you unselect this. All right. All right. So let me go back over here. We're going to do the batch rendering. I'm going to do it really quick. But I just want to mention that so that you understand what's happening. I don't want to assume that you know what I'm doing. All right. So we're going to click use a different production preset for each file. And the reason why I want to do that is because we have all these files here. So we have 3, 1, 2. So that's 1, 2, 3, 3, 1, 2, which is 1, 2, 3, and 3, 1, 2. So the top 3 are going to be one thing. So I'm going to do 640 by 360. And then the next 3 will be 1280 by 720. And of course, the next ones I'm going to do MP3. Like that. Click next. You choose the output folder, and then of course I usually select organize produce files in subfolders. And what that means is as it's rendering, it will create an individual folder for those files, which is nice to have, especially if you want to zip that folder up and send it away. All right. So that's how easy it is. You just click finish and it'll begin the rendering process. Now keep in mind, depending on your computer, one video could literally take anywhere from half an hour to sometimes an hour. If your computer is really, really fast, even my computer here, the videos will take about half an hour each just to render, or even 15 minutes. It really depends on how complex the video is. If the video is just maybe a few slides and that's it, and not a whole lot of motion, your video size is going to be lower. But if you have a lot of call outs and a lot of fancy motions and all that, your video file is going to be at a larger file size. So I hope you enjoyed this video course on how to rebrand your video course. So that's it. Have a good day.